What's up everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon, the crypto universe. Today's Tuesday, April 22nd. Now in today's video, I want to talk about DOG and more specifically about Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is pumping. It is now at around $91,000 at the time of this recording. But what you really need to understand is what's going to happen with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's going to continue to pump and some other coins like altcoins are going to lag behind, or Bitcoin dominance is going to eat away that market share, which will kind of test you as a dog holder. So you'll see the pump within Bitcoin, which we'll talk about price predictions of Bitcoin and how far that dominance will go. But also what you need to understand about dog Bitcoin is that it's all about patience. Because what's going to happen most likely is that Bitcoin dominance and Bitcoin price is most likely going to pump pretty massively, meaning we probably are right now in this bull market for Bitcoin reaching new all-time highs. So what does that mean to you as a dog Bitcoin holder, and why is dog right now kind of lagging behind in Bitcoin's pump? Well, let's talk about it in today's video. So let's go ahead and smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on our X platform, and please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I will never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. So guys, girls, let's get right into it. So DOG right now is still hovering around 150 million market cap. Now it hasn't actually pumped significantly. Now what you do need to know is that DOG Bitcoin is priced in Satoshis, which is the value of Bitcoin. So if you look over the past day, look at Bitcoin. It's actually outperforming DOG. Bitcoin's right now at 4%, while DOG Bitcoin is only at 2%. But if you look over the past 7 days, they're pretty much still in correlation. But that's not the only thing. Let's talk about Bitcoin first, and then we'll start talking about altcoins and especially DOG Bitcoin. So as you can see, Bitcoin right now is at around $91,000 at the time it's recording. Everything in the altcoin market is in the green. Everything is pumping. So let's look at the Fear and Greed Index. Is that right now we're in the neutral phase. Not too long ago, just a week ago, we were at number 38, but now we have increased it to 47. That means people are now more bullish on Bitcoin because they're probably seeing the Dixie, aka the dollar, drop in value due to the uncertainty that's happening within the whole political climate with these tariffs of China versus the US. Now, in terms of where Bitcoin's gonna go, let's talk about that. So usually after every death cross, especially with Bitcoin, as you can see here, we saw a death cross right around here, and people were sure that this was going to head into a downtrend. But shortly after that, we saw a golden cross, which took Bitcoin roughly from around 62,000 all the way up as high as 107,000. Then we saw another death cross again. People were not sure if this was going to be the end of Bitcoin, when in fact it was not. That death cross was just a signal that soon there's going to be another golden cross. So what happens if there's another golden cross? Well, most likely you're going to see the Bitcoin price reach new all-time highs. Now, I want to show you something from Plan B. Now, not only do you need to pay attention to these colored dots, which right now is in the orange, that's very bullish by the way, but you also need to pay attention to the black line and the gray line. Now, why is that? Now, what you need to understand is this black line and the gray line are two different things. Now, after the 200-week moving average, which is the black line, touches the 200-week geometric mean, which is the gray line, Bitcoin historically pumps. Now, as you can see, back in 2017, when the black line got close to the gray line, we saw the orange dots show us that we're going to head to new all-time high prices. So we roughly run to around $1,000, as close to around $10,000 just within the 2017 massive pump. And then you saw it over here in 2021 when we were roughly around 11 or 10,000 US dollars, and we got as high as around $60,000 to $64,000. So what do you think is going to happen again? So what we're potentially going to see, and this is kind of my price prediction, is that we're going to see anywhere from our price of around Bitcoin right now at around 91,000 get as high as to around 150, but to Plan B's point, it can get as high, and hear me out, it can get as high as 500,000 US dollars. Yes, you heard me right, and that's based on what Plan B has shared with us. He's even expressed that over and over. And if you think 500,000 US dollars is crazy per Bitcoin, Well, Max Kaiser thinks we can go higher to around 850,000 during this cycle. And what he means by cycle, it's not just going to last like just this 1 year in 2026 or even 2025, but that it's a multi-year cycle. So it could last for the next 2 to 3 years. So keep that in mind. That's something that's really important, is that this cycle is very different from other previous cycles that may not just last for a year. It could last longer. So this is why it's really important to stack as much dog as you can below 100,000 US dollars, because sooner or later we're not going to see Bitcoin below $100,000. So the days of Bitcoin reaching at around $10,000, $19,000, $20,000, $64,000, soon these days are going to be long gone. And the thing is, nothing changes about the Bitcoin supply. It's always going to be 21 million. Now, another thing I want to point out is Bitcoin dominance. Now, why is Bitcoin dominance very, very important? Now, we need to talk about Bitcoin dominance because Bitcoin dominance determines how high Bitcoin's price is going to go. And every single time we use the Fibonacci retracement, you can see that right now, Bitcoin broke past this resistance of dominance at around 62%. And it looks like it's most likely going to hit around a 66% level. Now, if it hits 66%, we could see Bitcoin's price definitely surge above 100,000. But most cases could say that maybe Bitcoin's dominance could reach higher than that. Now, if Bitcoin's dominance surpasses 66%, all the way up to around 73, we could see this happening roughly between now up until July. Bitcoin's price could reach around 130,000 and higher, believe it or not. Now, when Bitcoin dominance happens, altcoins won't pump as much because people are scared and wanting to FOMO into Bitcoin. So they're going to sell their other digital assets and buy more Bitcoin. So let's look at the altcoin season rally. So right now, this is the altcoin dominance. So right now, altcoin dominance is not there yet. Now, just yesterday, we were at 18, meaning that we thought we were going to veer more into the Bitcoin season level, but in fact, it veered more to the altcoin season level. Now it's up to 22. So what does that mean? When we look at the meme coins right now in the meme coin sector, they're actually all up. Now, over the past 24 hours, you're seeing that Dogecoin is around 8%. You can see that Farcoin up 24% and actually reached $1 billion because it's on Solana. SPX 9%, Pudgy Penguins 20%, Brett up 4%, Popcat up 30%. Now, I want to scroll down to Dog Bitcoin because it hasn't pumped as much. It's actually only up 1.7%. And why is that? And as you can see from the Runes marketplace, Runes are not pumping, and that's because Runes right now are priced in Satoshis. They're not priced in Solana. They're not priced in Ethereum. So right now you're seeing a lagging effect with Dog Bitcoin. And the reason I want to tell you that truth is because you need to know that right now, Dog may not pump as fast as every other altcoin and meme coin because Dog is on Bitcoin. But there is some good news I want to share with you as long as you have patience. Now, as you know, Dog themed meme coins have the most dominance across every other theme meme coin out there. Roughly 9% of the market share goes to dog themed meme coins. Now, if you're looking over here, yes, we could experience that soon. Meme coins will rally again back to $100 billion. And when that does happen, you'll know that Dog Bitcoin is going to do really well during that pump. Now, back in 2021, the meta was NFTs. And now in 2024, the meta was meme coins. Well, guess what the meta is going to be for 2025 and 2026. It's going to be Bitcoin DeFi. Now, Bitcoin DeFi already surged over 2,700% in 2024. What do you think is going to happen in 2025 and 2026? This is something that people are going to chase from every other chain. I'm already seeing the activity on Solana and Ethereum start to fade. Because of Pump.fun, it almost destroyed Solana. In terms of Ethereum, its price is plummeting right now. Both of its NFTs and its meme coins aren't doing that well because of that. But I'm not going to say that they aren't going to return, but I think right now people are going to veer towards the more attractive thing that is new. And because Bitcoin is now the narrative in this cycle, just Bitcoin itself, people are going to pay attention to the decentralized financing section of Bitcoin. So that's why you're seeing companies like Arch Network raise around 13 million in Series A funding, which was led by Pantera Capital. We've already mentioned how many different startups that are happening on top of Bitcoin that are gaining a lot of traction in terms of funding. I mean, let's not just stop there. We also have other mobile apps other than Slingshot, Moonshot, and also Moonpay they're going to be implementing Dog into their platform. We may have something called Bags, which is another, it's a mid-tier app. It's not something that's really that big, but it's just good to know like there's more apps that are going to integrate possibly Dog on their trading platform. Then you also have the UI upgrades that are happening on Ordinals, and soon, by the way, runes, which Elizabeth, the head of marketing over at Magic Eden, has mentioned. So when there are team members and an economy of developers developing the tools as Bitcoin DeFi starts to grow, you'll start to notice a lot of traction happening later. It may not happen just now, but it'll happen later. That's why patience is very important. Lark, who's a YouTube influencer, who has over 1 million followers on Twitter and over 600,000 followers on YouTube, just mentioned his newest article on wealth mastery. And it was an article talking about don't miss these top 10 meme coins in 2025. And on the number one coin that was mentioned on there was Dog Over the Moon. And even today, he even brought up that one of the tokens that's going to come back from the meme coin market, even though he mentions that almost like 99% of these meme coins may not come back, that definitely only 1% will. We talked about Pengu, he talked about Farcoin, but he talks about Dog Go to the Moon. These are the coins that will not only come back, but they also will rally really hard. And just news update as of today, Vo, who's the business lead behind Slingshot, just shared again that she bought runes through the Slingshot mobile app using Apple Pay through their testing phase. This has not gone live just yet. This will be one of many Runes Catalyst events that's going to happen for the Runes ecosystem, because it's going to allow people to buy, sell, trade runes with ease and simple without having to deal with like the lagging time. It's going to be instant. While behind closed doors, the validation of these trades will happen within the 10-minute window. At least on the app, it will happen really quickly. And by the way, if you haven't signed up for Slingshot, as I mentioned before, make sure to pull up your phone and scan this QR code on your screen right now to sign up for the mobile app, to get your funds ready, to get USDC ready to buy Bitcoin runes, especially Dog. Now let's talk about Dog Bitcoin compared to Bitcoin's price. Because here's the thing, when Dog Bitcoin reaches $1 billion, which it will definitely reach $1 billion and higher, but let's just be more realistic at $1 billion because we reached it almost twice already, you can see that that would be right now a 488% increase from where we are right now. So the reason I bring that up is because this is priced in Satoshis, at least Dog is, right? Now let's look at Bitcoin. Now, once Bitcoin reaches $130,000, which is the minimum that I think it's going to reach, that's only a 46% increase on your Satoshis. So the reason I bring that up is because, yes, you can chase the pump of Bitcoin if you want, or you can hold on to your Satoshis in Dog and have more gains. So really, you have to kind of divide your Satoshis in your Bitcoin in either Dog or Bitcoin. These are the two main things that I hold that you should definitely have perspective on. Bitcoin is the main goal that you need to hold no matter what. You need to own at least one Bitcoin or stack Bitcoin. But if you want to earn more Satoshis on your Bitcoin, then you have to test your patience by holding it in Dog, because Runes is going to have a super cycle this year. Bitcoin DeFi is going to be the new meta this year, and that the percentage of increase in your Satoshi is going to reach over 46%. In fact, over 488%. So we'll see that happen for sure in my perspective. And as you can see in the MACD, we're getting closer, as you see, is getting closer and closer to crossing this resistance level of the purple line, which would flip us into the buyer's market. And as I mentioned in the weekly time frame, you can see that the seller's market is getting weaker and weaker as these pink histogram bars are getting weaker and weaker. And we already closed on the green weekly just last week, and we're going to possibly see what's going to happen in this next week as well. So as a conclusion and statement, this is what you're seeing right now with Dog Bitcoin. Dog Bitcoin is a lagging effect. You're going to see that Dog right now is just trying to figure itself out. But when Bitcoin's going to go up, Dog is going to go up. It just may not go up as much as every other altcoin on Solana or Ethereum. So the reason I'm going to bring up this truth is because you need to ground yourself to understand, okay, where do you need to have your Satoshis at? But also you need to understand the upside of what you have in terms of conviction for Dog Bitcoin. Because you've seen that massive pump that would happen once we hit $1 billion, and it can happen really fast. This could happen within 1 month. That's how fast a pump can be. So with that said, let me know your thoughts down below. I want to share with you the possibilities of what's going to happen with dog Bitcoin while Bitcoin is pumping, while Bitcoin's having its dominance. But I want to hear your strategies down below and your thoughts, because really it's really important for other people online to hear your perspective, regardless if it's positive or negative, because it helps them understand how to best position themselves. So with that said, let me know your thoughts down below, and I cannot wait to read them. So go ahead and smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join our X platform to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding Bitcoin, dog, and every other altcoin for that matter. Till then, see you guys girls next time.